OpenAI starts offering a paid ChatGPT subscription for $20 a month. ChatGPT Plus subscribers will have general access to the chatbot even during peak times. That's actually very relevant because complaints that people have had with the whole ChatGPT experience and experiment, the novelty aspect of just like using it as a regular person off the street is, hey, the website's crashed. Millions of active users. You're going to be able to cut through that by having a Plus subscription to guarantee you access.
I actually did pay for this last night, as a matter of fact. ChatGPT it's the most popular app. It was the fastest growing app. Everybody is in love with it right now. And it takes a lot more to run that than it does the image generators. Stable Diffusion, for example, is available on GitHub for a local install so that you yourself, if you have a decent enough, like an RTX 30 series or 40 series NVIDIA card, you can do this. You can run this on your own. But ChatGPT, there is no, not even just because OpenAI doesn't, but any of these text things, there's nothing that you're going to be able to run on your computer because the images are only using, I believe it's 200 million points of data, whereas the text ones are using several billion. I want to say it's like 20 billion is what they're at now for ChatGPT. And just that much data processing that, it all runs through GPUs. ChatGPT runs off of, you need basically a Tesla graphics card, the NVIDIA Tesla A1000s, I believe is what they're called, or 3000, something along those lines. But the AI series,
that's pretty high level, right?
Yeah, they're like $10,000 to $20,000 graphics cards to be able to run these. And so what they're doing, OpenAI, because they have the Microsoft connection, they're running everything off of Microsoft's Azure servers, and so they're paying for essentially cloud computing. You can pay for cloud GPU usage and things like that. Google Colab does that, where you can rent one of their server GPUs that would be better than what you have. You know, we have over a million people that are jumping into this thing during the day, especially. When I was trying to use it for the last 2 weeks, during the day you just can't get on there. It just basically says it doesn't exist, and you keep getting aired out. But at night I was able to get things in there, and I would load it up and do as many queries as I could. But again, there would still be a limit on how many characters I believe it is. I don't know exactly how many queries. I don't know how it does exactly, but after a while I would say that I've reached the maximum for the hour. So I paid the $20 for ChatGPT because I have been using it at work for several different things. I have some writing clients who just don't care. They really just are looking for SEO kind of writing stuff, and I'm happy to provide it to them I hate doing it if it's me having to look up some boring thing just to write some article that they don't care about.
It basically gives you like a shitty rough draft or first draft that you can then mold into the content, the finished product the client wants.
And it's so much faster to do it that way.
Yeah, I use the analogy, talking about this, before the show, basically like buying cookie dough versus making your own cookie dough.
Exactly that. It's pre-made cookie dough. It's not as good as the cookies that you can make on your own, and it's a little bit more expensive for the client side. But at the same time, I'm getting the convenience of having everything kind of pre-made for me and everything. And I only do this specifically for like a banking client, for example. I get a lot of banking clients that really don't care about the creative side. They don't care what anything looks like. They read the article that said for SEO you need to have this, this, and this, and they want this, this, and this. They don't care how it comes through. Evergreen content. CNET was doing it for the same thing for finance stuff. The one thing that they got caught on was math, and that's why I still have to go through there. That's one of many reasons why I still have to go through it and scan through it, get some sources, make sure that everything's kosher, because I would not turn in a raw output from any of these things for that. But because of that, I mean, anyone who's using it for work, I could definitely see where you would pay $20 to get access to this. But anybody else who's just playing around, who just wants to like ask it questions and things like that, like there's that $20 is enough to put a barrier to where nobody's going to use it. Although I don't know, $20 might be too much. I feel like that might be a $10 a month service. I don't know that I'm not probably going to pay for it every single month. That's what I'm going to say. I'll probably cancel it at least like every other month.
Kind of like my relationship to my Netflix. Sometimes
exactly like that.
On, sometimes off. Or Hulu. I mean, literally, like a lot of these subscription services, I've noticed now, literally start folding in a pause option if they recognize that the temporary cancel behavior is like a thing, or the pause behavior is a thing. So they're like, you don't actually want to cancel, you want to pause. You want to pause for a month? We'll come back, check in a month later. You hit on a few things there. One thing, just to be clear, besides sort of guaranteed access, what else do you get for the $20? Like the corollary or the correlated thing to consider would be MidJourney, right? For those who don't know, MidJourney also has a subscription service, and it's maybe $20 or $40, but that allows you to have basically unlimited use of the MidJourney AI-generated art service, as well as authorship and licensing for all of the images you create with it. So do you get like any other perks with $20 subscription to ChatGPT, or is it literally just guaranteed access during peak hours?
MidJourney's got a couple different subscriptions. It goes from 10 to 60, I believe, I think is the most expensive one. I paid $600 for a year. That comes out to what, $50 a month? For quite a bit of things that come off of it. There's quite a bit of features like fast mode, and you can do higher quality, things like that. With OpenAI and ChatGPT, right now, what they say is that you'll have extra access to, or early access to their new features as they come out, which is another reason I paid for it, because this week is when Google is releasing their supposed competitor to the ChatGPT Bing thing on February 8th. And when that happens, sometime this week, I imagine Microsoft's going to have some stuff coming through too, and I'm hoping that it's going to get me early access into that. But other than that, I don't know that there's much else that they really can offer you. I mean, Jasper's a good example. Jasper takes the GPT-3, now probably ChatGPT, but GPT-3 API. It was initially called Jarvis, and they got in trouble with Disney. But Jasper AI has their own kind of a Canva for Word, is the best way I can describe it. A bunch of templates so that like you could choose specifically if you want to like a LinkedIn post that's professional for LinkedIn, you can choose those options and then give it something to write about, and it'll break it down in that way. So they have added there are some things you could do with it if you were trying to fluff it up and add extra features, but it's a lot more limited than what MidJourney, like MidJourney I'm happy I paid for. I will gladly continue paying for MidJourney because using it professionally, again, it's not, if it were Netflix, if it were something I'm doing for entertainment, I would be switching between all of them and trying to figure everything out. But when it comes to business and I need to have something that's there that I can count on consistently, I will definitely pay for MidJourney. But on OpenAI, I don't know that I actually would. I haven't even bought any credits for DALL-E 2. I barely use that. I've been using Stable Diffusion for anything that I need that presumably DALL-E would allow me to do. But yeah, I don't know that there's any other features that are going to justify $20 a month.
This is Edokwin with Brian Penny for the AI Creator Economy podcast. Please like, subscribe, and hit that bell. You're going to get some good content throughout the week, every week.